24 people, a one shot.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our, it is a quarterly, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to our quarterly membership meeting. My name is Alan Kamara, and on my right.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Hughes. I'm the Vice President working that.
And I'm Susie. I'm one of the negotiators for Medical VMC.
I'm Shannon Ruth. I'm the Association Representative for RNPI.
And I'm Thelma Dodson, Association Representative as well.
And let's just give credit to our board of directors who's attending on the call. Who's on the call?
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
I'm here, Malay Toll.
Oh, sorry, Malay, I didn't see your name.
That's okay.
Our other negotiator.
Malay is one of our negotiators as well. And Alyssa, you want to introduce yourself so people are familiar with you?
Hi everyone, this is Alyssa from Bern.
All right. So since people are still joining, maybe we should just hold off for another minute or two and then we can get started. If that's okay with everyone, just be patient, please. Thank you.
They look like they're talking amongst themselves.
Hi everyone, whoever just joined. We're just waiting a few more minutes before we get started.
All right, for the benefit of everybody on the call, I guess we should go ahead and start. Just for FYI, just to do some housekeeping here, we will go ahead and talk about the agenda items sent to everyone. I know we have a lot of things on our agenda to discuss today. So if you have any comment, question, please feel free to throw in your comment in the chat. And at some point, we will allow people to speak. Please raise your arm and then we'll decide, Shannon will call on you to speak. So for just on the first topic in our agenda item is short staffing, which I think we are all familiar with the short staffing. Within the past 3 months, we've been constantly in touch with nursing administration, county executive, and also we've been reaching out to the board of supervisors to please help us get more staffing, especially at St. Louis. And last month, the board was able to pass a referral that granted 55 new positions for St. Louis alone, 55.5 positions. And the board also allocated about over 100 FTEs to O'Connor. And as you all know, the DePaul clinic that is called now Valley Specialty Clinic that's going to open in Morgan Hill. I think we have about 70 FTEs going towards Morgan Hill as well. Now for Valley Medical, currently they're preparing to submit positions. So if you know your department is short staff, which I believe almost all department at Val is short staff, please feel free to fill up whenever you're short staff. Feel free to fill up the level of staffing form. Notice of staffing level, right? I don't know if everybody's familiar with that. When you're short staff, make sure you fill those form out, and that's how we can tell if you're short staff on a daily basis. And also send us email, express concern. We can reach out to your manager and inquire for how many vacant positions are available to see if we can continue to advocate for that unit as well.
They're on the desktops, right?
Yes, so the notice of staffing level should be on your desktop. And if they are not, you can go to rmpa.net and click forms. You should be able to see them there as well. They are easily accessible on our website at rmpa.net. And you should be able to see those forms there as well. And they should also be on your desktop. But just in case you can find them on your desktop, please, there's another way to look for them. And we also have RMPA binders in every unit. If you know who your unit representative for RMPA contacted, they should be able to help you get those forms. So short staffing, again, is a big problem, and just be aware that we will continue to push, and I know we're going to contract negotiation that will come up more often. We're preparing to ask the county to give us more code, okay? The other problem with the short staffing is we currently have over 300 vacant positions. We are begging and pleading to the county to have a robust recruitment and retention strategy. We are working with the Board of Supervisors to make that happen. And we continue to meet with the county on a monthly basis in our recruitment and retention committee meeting. And we hope things will hopefully help to make that happen soon. So now the next agenda item, and again, if you have any question, feel free to send us a question in the chat. We will answer the questions. Let me go over this.
I have a question in the chat.
And
It says, is there a chance to create a flow pool for St. Louis, as there are nurses like myself who are not, sorry, my glasses on, who are not full-time that would be willing to pick up?
Well, we've always asked for float pool for St. Louis, just so whoever sent that message, just so you're aware, and for people who work at St. Louis to be aware, we've been constantly advocating for float nurses at St. Louis. And we will continue to do that. Now, with this 55 FTEs, we will be in conversation with the nursing administration over there and Gloria Del Macet, who's the director, who's the COO, to see if we can continue to create a nursing float pool over there. So yes, we will advocate for that. Number two Number 2 and number 3 on our agenda list almost goes hand in hand in talking about security, safety, and workplace violence. Increase my call. Okay. Somebody sent a message, but I read that real quick, so that's fine. So for security and safety, we just want all our members to know whether it's St. Louis Regional Hospital in Gilroy, whether it's O'Connell, whether it's Valley Medical or any of our clinics, we've been advocating for security and safety. The county just passed a new referral last month. That referral guarantees 75 new, what we call SPSOs, Sheriff Protective Service Officers. So you know how usually we have the PSOs? Now we have Service Protective Service Officers, Sheriff Protective Service Officers that the county has approved, 75 positions. We just met with the county president of the board, Susan Ellenberg yesterday, and they are pushing to make sure they hire into those positions as quickly as possible. We've advocated for St. Louis and O'Connor to have SPSOs and deputy sheriff. We are planning on meeting with the elected sheriff, Sheriff Johnson, so we can strategize and see how we can get St. Louis and O'Connor SPSOs instead of private officers there. We talked about safety. We've been in constant touch with the county COO, who is Curtis Ohashi. We've talked about having parking, because all our campuses are so dark, and the cameras that are supposed to record events that happen are not the best. We've pushed and asked the county to have new HD cameras around and have lights at all parking garages. Okay.
Somebody has a question. They say, when you say workplace violence, does this include bullying and retaliation at the workplace?
Yes. So bullying and retaliation at the workplace constitute workplace violence. So workplace violence come in different forms. And we want the county to have a zero tolerance at every workplace. And it is RMP's positions that bullying at the workplace is unacceptable and that the county should do more to address that, including among staff.
The other question to that is, how can we report bullying between employees?
To your manager. And if there is a bullying in your department, you report it to your manager and let your manager know, please put it in writing. So that way you have a paper trail. And if the manager does nothing about it, reinforce it with another email. You should know your department director who you can go to. Every manager has his or her own director who directs them, right? And then feel free to contact RMPA if you feel like you've tried and no resolution has come to pass, and let us know, and we can help you, give you guidance, and we can advise you on next step. You can also contact EOD, Equal Opportunity Department. EOD is there if you feel like you have a working environment that doesn't favor you and why. And they can guide you and tell you what resources are available to you on top of contacting RMPA. RMPA will also advise you as well.
Okay, next question is, when will St. Louis get the county PSOs?
That is in the works with the SPSOs for St. Louis. We are, because how the county hiring practices, when someone applies for a position within the county, it takes anywhere from 3 months to 6 months. We are talking to the Board of Supervisors to make sure we can expedite the hiring process. So we will meet with the county sheriff to make sure at this point, we do not have any estimated timeline for you because we don't want to give you, but we hope to have that happen within the next 3 months. We hope so.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, we have monthly meetings with St. Louis, and in every single meeting, we really advocate for we know there's private security there, and we know that sometimes they're not always present. So we've been advocating for more securities. There's supposed to be 4 per shift, and also that they're not just checking in with the ED, that they're actually posted in the ED. And when being that it's not going to be till maybe the summer that the PSOs are out there, we talked to Jeff, the security director there at St. Louis, personally, and asked him if the private security officers can go to the de-escalation trainings, because we're hearing they're not really helping too much. So hopefully that's in the works, but we keep pressing for that. And then, like Ellen said, we're also really pressing to get a sheriff deputy out there at St. Louis and O'Connor.
And we just want to thank all our members who participated in our last rally on the 22nd and on the 15th at St. Louis. On the 15th at St. Louis, we have a safety rally there and no confidence rally. And on the 22nd of last month, we had violence, walk nurses against violence at Valley Medical. we think that was very successful because we have over 60 nurses who showed up to show their support. Thank you all for doing that. And for those who wanted to participate but couldn't, thank you. We encourage all our members next time when there is a rally, please do yourself a favor and show up, because every rally that we have, we're having on behalf of every one of us. So
one more question with the workplace violence. It says, could the sheriff have a satellite post there? There seems to be space. What's the update with the no confidence at St. Louis?
we will get to that. Yes, we will get to that as soon as possible. With the sheriff, let me just respond to the sheriff. The sheriff will find a post. We just have to meet with the sheriff, Sheriff Johnson, who's the new elected sheriff, to make sure we can have a deputy sheriff at St. Louis and O'Connor. And now, in terms of posting, usually the union, we don't dictate where to post, but we can make sure if they have a post, they are visible and they can protect staff. I think that's our goal. With the no confidence vote, I'm pretty sure for some people who are at St. Louis, you'll be hearing, I think tomorrow there's a town hall meeting with the ED, and they've been reaching out to have a town hall meeting with you. Anytime they invite you to a town hall meeting, make sure you let RMPA know that they have reached out to your department for a town hall meeting. We would like to be there so that we are comfortable to speak. And when you attend those meetings, please be respectful and speak the truth. Make sure you express how you feel like you've been treated, okay?
I think we were trying to set up our own town hall meeting.
We are trying to set up our own town hall meeting with all of you at St. Louis with nursing administration as well. Let's go back to the workplace violence. So that rally turned out good. We have a lot of publicity. So we met with the Board of Supervisor President yesterday again to reaffirm our request that when a nurse gets assaulted at work, that whoever assaulted that nurse should be removed from the hospital immediately. And we understand sometimes when our patient or family member comes to our hospital, they are frustrated. And some of this will start in our waiting rooms in the ER, in the ED. People get frustrated because they've been waiting for long, and then suddenly they become agitated and then assault one of the staff. We are not going to accept that. We've also requested to Paul Lawrence and the rest of nursing administration that they place a huge sign in all our lobbies that express a zero tolerance for assault against our staff. So we would like you all to please, when you are assaulted at work, verbally or otherwise, please fill up an incident report. I think one of the biggest problems when we had our last workplace violence task force committee, there were only a little over 40 assaults. And amongst those, there were only 20 reported according to the requirement by Cal OSHA. That should not stop us from reporting our incidents. If somebody threatens you, please fill up an incident report. And I know sometimes we all know how busy we can be, and people feel like, well, I don't have the time, I'm just busy. Granted. However, the county will not know that you were assaulted, threatened, and even though the county will say, well, we do understand there's a workplace violence, but we don't have the data to support it. So when RMPA comes and starts speaking and advocating, the county will be like, oh yeah, Alan, we're doing the best we can. Jane and RMPA, we're doing the best we can. Alisa, Sue, we're doing the best we can. Millet, we're doing the best we can. But sorry, the data doesn't support your argument, Alan or Millet or RMPA. So please to our members, we are pleading to you, and when you leave this call, please make sure you become an advocate for workplace violence, nurses against workplace violence. Encourage your nurses, your fellow colleagues, if they're assaulted, to fill up an incident report, please. All right.
There's a question, I don't know what this means. May all staff at St. Louis attend the
Please.
town hall meeting?
Correct, yes.
We're setting it up for all units.
Yes. All right, now.
And then it says here, the meeting is for ER tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We will do our best to make sure we attend that meetings as well. On the workplace violence, we have a committee. I'll have Jen speak on that. We've been recruiting members to be part of the Violence Against Nurses Committee. Our goal is to take this all the way to Sacramento. And just so everyone knows, RMPA is unapologetic about this. We want, when a nurse is assaulted here at a hospital, that becomes a felony. And we know that's a hard push, but that's a hard push that the union is willing to do on behalf of our members. Next week, we have a meeting with Senator Cortese, Dave Cortese's office. He's working on a bill that he's trying to push through, which is a workplace violence bill to the Senate that's going to become a law. We have a meeting with his office next week to see how we can also contribute to that, but it has to benefit our nurses. If not, we will have that discussion with him. Jen, do you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, just for anyone who's interested in joining the Workplace Violence Committee, we welcome you. It's not a lot of commitment. It's just, people that have passion and really want to help be a part of the exciting change to change the laws in California and make nursing safer. So if you're interested, you can email me, jhughes@rmpa.net or info@rmpa.net. We also have workplace violence t-shirts. And yeah, we have a task force that we go to. I attend every month with the whole enterprise. We find out the latest information. We're still really pushing for the sheriff deputies at O'Connor and St. Louis. We're also pushing for metal detectors. It's such a joke that we don't have them in our county. I mean, Kaiser has them, Stanford. So we even talked about that yesterday with Supervisor Ellenberg. So yeah, we're going to be partnering with other local unions like Stanford and El Camino, and taking it to California to change the legislation to make it a felony to assault a healthcare worker.
Thank you, Jen. So just go back to our agenda. As you all see in our agenda, we have many, many topics. That's how busy we've been within the past year. Let's go to the class study. As you all know, when we did the class study, we were able to get 10% for all our clinical nurses. We were able to get 10% for assistant nurse managers, 10% for our psych nurses. And also, we are working on increasing the percentage also for our CRNAs. Currently with the county is offering 6% increase. We're objecting to the 6%, asking for 10%, and we're going back and forth. But just so you know, there is an opportunity for a change in that. And also for our staff developers, nurse coordinators, for our infectious disease control nurses and our nurse specialists, just so you know, we continue to have a discussion with the county. Once we get anything on your behalf, we are going to ask for retro. So as long as this take, just be mindful, we are going to request a retro for you. Now, it might not be happening now. That doesn't mean we're not fighting. We continue to fight, and we have upcoming meetings with the county executive, and we will go ahead and push forward for that. Sometimes negotiation is not linear, and I know sometimes people will say, well, why not me? Why not me? Understood. Negotiation is not linear. Sometimes we can go from A to B, sometimes from A to Z. And here we are having a little difficulty because of the data collection to do a comparison studies. Our staff developer role here is different from the staff developer role at other hospitals. Our infectious disease control nurses role here is different from the ones at other hospitals. And so are the nurse coordinators as well. So therefore, we have problems gathering those data for comparative studies. But that doesn't mean we will not continue to push. We just want our staff developers, our 135 forgotten ones. We at least at RMP here, we are not, we are going to push, make sure you get that before our contract negotiation, hopefully. I'm pretty sure there might be some on this call. If you have a question, please feel free to chime in. and we can respond to your questions. For the nurse practitioner, we continue to meet with the county for nurse practitioners. And yesterday we met with the county. There's a new law in the state of California that requires nurse practitioners to apply for independent practice. That law is AB 890. AB 890 requires nurse practitioners to apply for the first stage of independent practice is 103. When you apply for 103 allows you to accumulate up to 4,600 hours. Then you can apply for 104 at that point. 103 just gives you the ability to have an independent practice within a facility where you work. 104, if you apply for 104, it just gives you an independent practice where you can go open your own practice. Like you can be like an entrepreneur, open your own business, run it. So yesterday we met with the county. The county is going to start that process immediately. The county had asked us to see if they can postpone it. We said no, the law is the law. So effective immediately, the county will allow all our nurse practitioners to start applying for that independent practice 103. We are going to have a separate meeting with all our nurse practitioners. We will encourage all our nurse practitioners to attend. And for nurses who are already nurse practitioners within the system, who are looking for opportunity to work within this county, also feel free when we call that meeting to attend. We continue to meet with Karen Kettner, Paul Lawrence, and the county executive's office to make sure there is a pathway for our nurse practitioners, new grad nurse practitioner within the county to get a job. We find it very offensive or disrespectful for a nurse practitioner to graduate here, leave the system, go get experience and come back. We are going to make sure that there is a pathway within the county. And we know the merit system has something to do with that. We did talk to the president of the board, Supervisor Ellenberg, yesterday about that. We're trying to see how we can resolve that issues. But just for our nurse practitioners to know, we have a meet and confer with them, and any update we can discuss that outside this.
Also, we're working on the nurse practitioner ladder through the classification study.
Yes, that's why we're working on the nurse practitioner classification and ladder, clinical ladder, but that will be discussed at a different table because we don't want board people here.
And then somebody has a question, will we be increasing nurse practitioner jobs? There are so few. Yes.
So just so you know, last year, we filed a prop charge against the county for using nurse practitioners as contractors within the county and not hiring our nurses. That went to PERB, and PERB filed a complaint against the county. We met with the county. We have informal settlement conversation coming up. But as of now, the county is going to start hiring nurse practitioners in all our EDs and our urgent care. Just so you know, at least we've had the opportunity, the county is going to start hiring nurse practitioners in our urgent care and our emergency rooms. That will help give opportunity to our nurse practitioner within the county to work, to have opportunities here in the county.
Okay, and then somebody says, maybe we discuss at another time to find a pathway for RNs to seek education as an NP, education fund. So that might be a negotiation thing. So if you want to, CD, if you want to send us an email saying that this is something you want to look at in contract negotiations, and if you want to be part of it, just email
negotiations@rnpa.net. It's also going to be on the surveys that we're going to send out as well, but we'll discuss that in a minute.
All right. So let's go. So nurse practitioner, if you have any question, don't worry. We will send out email when we have a nurse practitioner email. Maybe we'll just blast it to everyone. If you're a nurse practitioner and you already have a license and not practicing, you can attend that meeting as well.
Okay.
So again, our per diem nurses, your 20% increase should kick in on the 6th. So you should see it on your next paycheck. On your next paycheck, you should be able to see your 20% increase. If you do not see it, please contact RMP and we can see why.
I think it kicked in on the 6th, right?
On the
I mean, they'll
6th.
see it on the 6th. I think it kicked in on the 20th.
They kick it on the 20th, should be.
February 20th, and you should have seen it, I think, on May 6th. March 6th.
March 6th is
Yeah.
when, yes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes, March 6th.
Okay, we have a per diem. For per diem, that become coded, can we get help as far as the classification and get the increase like others? Because based on our classification, we may not get any increase.
I don't know
So
what,
we're working on this. We understand what you're saying, because if you were a per diem nurse, so when you were hired into your classification, they hired you in based on your years of experience. So with the changes due to the classification study, they reinstituted steps 1 and 2. So right now, we've reached out to John Mills, who's the Deputy Director of the Employee Service Agency, to see if we can do something about that and hiring people at a higher step, or maybe getting rid of steps 1 and 2. So we're working on that. But the most important thing that you can do is make sure your application reflects all your hours worked and all your duties and responsibilities, because that's what the county looks at when they're placing you in your step.
okay. So any question on per diem before we move forward? So we have a big topic we want to discuss, and I hope people can pay attention to this one. We have a new law, which is called SB, what's the law again?
1334.
Labor Code
and it's,
521.
Huh?
it's
Labor Code
Go
521.
off the California Labor Code, because that's what the
Okay.
county talks about.
Okay, the California Labor Code
521.
521 requires the county to make sure every nurse,
512, sorry.
Okay.
We're gonna send out information.
Well, let's just do this. There is a new California law effective January 1st that allows the county to make sure any nurse who works 8-hour shift in the first 4 hours to have 30 minutes break. It's a meal break. You can get your 30 minutes meal break within the first 4 hours. The law says 5 hours, but our contract supersede, because we already have a contract, you should go by what our contract states. So within in the middle of the shift, say if you have 8 hours, it's in the middle of your shift. If you're 12 hours, you still get the first 30 minutes in the first 4 hours. And another 30 minutes, you can choose it whether it's a meal break or rest break. It should be 30 minutes. If you do not get those 30-minute breaks, you are entitled to 1 hour pay for every 30 minutes that you miss. Say, for example, if you did not get your first 30 minutes break or rest period or meal period, the county will pay you 1 hour for that. And if you do not get it in the second 4 hours, the county will pay you an additional 1 hour. So I know your managers may have been contacting you since yesterday, because I received an email from my manager that this law is now in effect. We are encouraging all our members, make sure when you do not get your break, you put that in the exception form. Now?
Take a picture. We need the
And it should
documentation.
also be like your meal break and your rest break.
Correct. They should put it on the
Those are
exception
two
form.
separate breaks.
So those are 2 separate breaks, right? And I'm pretty sure some of you may have questions about this. We will pause and hope that some people who have questions can ask those questions. Unmute yourself to ask the question so everybody can hear your question and everybody can hear our response to the question as well. So we will pause. Raise your arm if you have a question about this new meal break law.
Somebody put it in the chat. So is it a rest break and a meal break?
Correct. It is a rest break and a meal break. You are entitled to 30 minutes of meal break and a 30 minutes of rest break,
Or 15 minutes. either.
Yes.
Or 2 15-minute breaks,
or 2 15-minute, yeah.
every unit.
So if somebody's raising your arm, go ahead.
Right. So I was wondering, so we get the 1 30-minute break, the 2 15-minute breaks. Are we able to combine those still as a 30-minute break, or does a 15-minute break have to be taken within the first 4 hours, and then the other 15-minute rest break has to be taken in the second 4 hours?
So for now, as it is for now, we maintain the status quo. If your 2 15-minute breaks are combined, it should continue to combine until we meet and confer with the county to decide whether we choose to keep it as it is or we want to split them. Right now, we are waiting to meet with them, and we will decide whether we should split them or whether we should continue to keep them. I can give you, for example, in my ED, I work in the Idiot Valley. I work an 8-hour shift. I have 1 30-minute break in the first 4 hours, and I will get another 30-minute break in the second 4 hours. We combine those 2 15-minute as it is right now.
That's what we do.
And I know some units do that as well, and some units will allow you to take a 15-minute break in the first 4 hours and a 45-minute break later. However, you've been taking your break stays the same for now until you hear from RMP, which we will be having a meeting with the county next week, and we will decide, and we and the county will have an agreement as to whether we want to keep those breaks together or we want to split them. Now, if the county chooses to split those breaks, just so you know, it is going to be a staffing nightmare because you're going to have to make sure everybody gets their first 15-minute break in the first 4 hours. And you're going to make sure they get that second 15-minute break in the last 4 hours, however you want to do it, and get their 30-minute break as well.
They should have already been doing it, right?
And they should already be doing it.
Okay, so next question, does this also apply for 12-hour shifts?
Correct. Same applies to 12-hour shifts. 12-hour shift will still get their 2 30-minute break and a 15. So it applies to 12-hour shift as well. And applies to 10-hour shift as well, as long as you're a nurse.
Okay, then somebody says, okay, because sometimes we do not get offered our break within the first 5 hours if it is short and busy.
Then you put it on your exception form. If the department did not offer you a break within the first 4 hours, you put it on the exception form, even if they give you after. The violation is you should get your 30-minute break in the first 4 according to our contract.
Okay, and then somebody says, can we address break nurses requiring nurses to take breaks on 12-hour shifts after 1 to 2 hours?
So what do you mean after 1 to 2 hours? I don't understand what that means.
Working, I think,
After the first arrival.
when they arrive.
Upon arrival.
So now for a 12-hour shift to come, this is what we can say as a bargaining unit. And we want to be careful because there may be a lot of anecdotal stories. We may not be familiar with all the stories out there, but what we can tell you as a collective bargaining unit representing everybody is that a nurse working 8 hours or 12 hours deserves a break in the first 4 hours. So if you're having any issues with how early you're sent for break and how you should discuss that with your manager, so the department should decide and make sure there's a clear instruction or guidance for the break reliever to make sure everybody gets their break, but enough that you are not sending someone who just walks into work and say, hey, by the way, you just got here, by the way, take your break just because I have many people to give break, right? So that should be discussed within the department. And the union we're hesitant to just get to step into all issues outside
Well, we meet on the 17th too, so we'll try to go through every scenario. And if you guys want to send us scenarios too, just email us so we can try to make sure that we cover everything we can at that meeting. The next one says at St. Louis on our 12-hour shifts, we're currently taking one 15-minute, then a 45-minute lunch. It's very difficult to have lunch 45 minutes in the first 4 hours.
Okay, what we can tell you is the law states, again, we are going by the law. The law states, effective January 1st, our nurses should get a 30-minute break in the first 4 hours and a second 30-minute break in the second 4 hours. We do not know how departments are distributing their breaks, but they should be able to respect the law. And if they don't, fill up your exception form, and you should be compensated for 1 hour for every 30-minute break that you miss.
Well, they're also missing a 15-minute there
Yes.
too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I think that you're missing some breaks there because you should have a 15-minute within the first 4 hours. Then you have a lunch period, right?
The way, again, what we want to get at is we don't, different departments distribute their breaks differently.
But not enough time though, is what I'm saying. That's only
Yes.
an hour.
Yes.
We can look at that though.
I know there are so many questions.
The other one is, will it apply to nurse coordinators? Yes, it applies to everybody in the RMPA bargaining unit.
Correct.
Then it says, since this law was effective January 1st, are we getting retro pay, 1 hour extra pay on those previous days that we didn't get our break?
Yes, if you can prove that you did not get your break and you fill up the exception form, yes, we will go after the county to make sure everybody's paid for that.
And then somebody says breaks are too early, and our contract governs when you get breaks.
Yes, it's the first.
Page 32 and 33. Yeah, it's the midpoint of the shift, right?
So our contract governs when you can get your break. It's in the mid. We use the word mid because we have 8-hour shift, we have 12-hour shift, and how some nurses even have 10-hour shift. Some of our A&Ms work 10-hour shift, right? Because they use the flex waiver. So, yeah.
Okay, and it says, just to confirm, as of this time, we can continue what we are doing for break time in our unit until we hear from the county and RMPA to have an agreement.
That is correct.
But if you're missing your breaks or unpaid meal periods, put both of them on the exception form. And also, if you want to take a picture, just so we can go back and make sure we're getting all the information we need when we request retro pay.
Okay.
It says, if I'm offered a break but too busy to take at that time, is my break time forfeited?
Yes.
The next one says, can we retro this? I did not have any breaks 213 for 5.5 hours.
Did you put that in exception form? If you did put that in exception form, you should get the pay. But again, if you do not get your break, you make sure you let your charge nurse know, or whoever is your immediate supervisor at that time, know that you did not get your break and you need one, right? And or fill up the exception form.
I have a question. So as of right now, no managers can be deciding to change the
No.
law, correct?
No.
So if a manager says that, please email us if there's any
Yes.
issues with that.
If
We're
Yes.
gonna leave it as is right now until we meet with the county and RMP on Friday.
Correct. And we've already seen managers reaching out to the nurses, telling them, hey, you can't combine your break. Nope, we've already responded to labor relation to specifically tell those managers to stop doing that. They cannot. That's considered direct dealing. They shouldn't be engaging in that. The union is there for that. And that's why we have this opportunity to meet with our members so we can advocate for a member the right way.
And then Megan just clarified at St. Louis, they are getting their 15-minute break at the end of the shift. That was the 12-hour person that I'm saying they were
All right,
short.
good.
I'm sorry, we still have some. So just to confirm, we will get one 15-minute break in addition to 2 30-minute breaks.
If you're 12 hours.
Yeah. And then, oops.
Alicia. So
We have some more. Do you want me to go through, keep going through?
Alisa just asked a question. Our question is saying
Alyssa says, is payroll aware and prepared to pay the penalty? Will this be a new separate line on our check?
It should, because Alisa, the county already sent, where's my
You're looking for this?
Yes. The county already sent out these to all the employees, at least to all the managers, including timekeeping. So they should have the interpretation of the law.
Okay, then there's a question, if we have brought to our manager's attention RNs breaking us too early into a 12-hour shift, how do we address this?
You should, again, that's where you discuss that with your manager and you all come up with a way to address that. Now, the problem is in large units where they have many nurses, it is incumbent on the county or the department to make sure we have enough break relievers to make sure everybody gets their break appropriately. Now, if people continue to get too early of a break where they consider too early, let us know. Maybe we can meet with that manager and talk to them and see how we can resolve that amicably.
Yeah, she's saying it's offered in the first hour that she gets there.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Okay, so someone says, yes, they may need to add a break nurse on the larger units.
Correct, yes.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Any other question on meal break? This is a new law. As a matter of fact, this is good because prior to the beginning of this year, public employee like us were not compensated for a missed rest period. Thankfully now, we are all going to be paid for our missed rest period.
Okay, one more. According to the manager's email, when working a 12-hour shift, it states every 4 hours, nurses are allotted a 10-minute break. So that's equivalent to 3 10-minute breaks on top of the 30 minutes. If the RFA only had 15 minutes and the 2 30-minute
Just mute tell me what it is. I don't know.
The last one, 660. 660 is the last one.
Sorry, you guys, I'm trying to mute somebody. If you're on and not talking, please mute yourself.
Please, if you're not talking, please mute yourself.
Okay, let me just go back to this last question, sorry. Okay, so according to the manager's email, when working a 12-hour shift, it states every 4 hours RNs are allotted a 10-minute break. So that's equivalent to 3 30-minute breaks on top of the 2 30-minute breaks. Is the RMPA only a 15-minute break and 2 30-minute breaks? Please clarify. No, every 10-minute break in the, like you would get by law in the RMPA contract, you get 15 minutes. So a 12-hour person gets a 15, a 30, a 15, a 30, and 15, right?
But we are just going to keep the status quo for now until we meet with the county again. So let's say if you've been having 2 30-minute break and a 15.
Yeah, that's the 12 hours.
We are waiting to meet with the county before we decide that, just FYI. And at some point we can send out a FAQ. What we can do, once we meet with the county, we'll send out a FAQ to all our members.
Okay. Do you guys, should we go on? And there's a lot of other 12-hour things. I mean, I think we'll have more information when we send out, or actually Tiffany just put that, our FAQ.
Okay, yeah, good.
Okay.
All right. Now let's go to newsletter topics, okay, we already sent that out. Everything we talked about is what we put in our newsletter. Now let's go to contract negotiation. To everyone, if you have this book or may have seen it, our contract expired October 29th. October 29th is when our contract will expire. So again, we've been sending out email to everyone. Rounding, speaking to people, encouraging people. If you have any contractual language change that you want to recommend, please send it to negotiation@rmpa.net. We have Malay here on this call. We have Susie. They are both our negotiators on the board of directors. We are collecting information as we go. I'll let Susie, I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, so right now we're currently in the process of forming our negotiation subcommittees. The last day to sign up is March 10th. So you've probably seen Malay and myself at the hospitals or at the clinics trying to bribe you guys with candy. Please, we really need your recommendations. We can't do it without you. There's almost 3,500 nurses. And then there's only 2 of us with the help of Thelma, our association rep. So we're doing the subcommittees, and I'm getting a Google Docs drive prepared to add you guys to the committees you sign up for. And we're also gonna send out a survey, so please participate. And we're going to schedule a meet and greet, and we're working on that currently. And then when we do have a meet and greet for the subcommittees, you'll be able to meet our chief negotiator, Kim Carter, on that same meeting. And then, is there anything else? Malay, are you on the call? Not sure if she's still here.
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like to add anything?
I guess I just encourage everyone to join the subcommittee. We're making it very convenient that it's going to be online. And then when the surveys go out, please pick your top five issues you want us to address. And we did get to meet our top negotiator, who's wonderful. I'm very excited about this.
So you guys have some quick negotiation questions. Somebody says, do you negotiate directly with the executives?
What do you mean executives?
I think they're asking who we negotiate with.
The county.
So it's the county bargaining team. They have a member of bargaining teams that is directors, members from labor relations, and sometimes nurse managers.
So when we negotiate with the county, and whoever the county choose to put on the negotiation team, we don't dictate that, but we negotiate directly with the county. That might be one of your managers, that might be somebody from labor relation, or county execs, whoever that person is, the county will decide who is on the negotiation team.
Okay, and then somebody has another question. Does RMPA have a ballpark increase that they're seeking? Are we aiming to match another hospital, or are we trying to follow another contract somewhere?
No, we're trying to make sure we're very competitive. If we can get more than any other hospital, that is our goal.
And it'll be on the surveys too, for what you would like to see for the increases. So that's why please participate in the surveys.
I mean, right now, when you go into negotiation, just so our members are aware, you want to hold so many things close to your chest. You do not want to disclose everything. Everyone on this call, we trust you, but when negotiation on behalf of almost 4,000 membership, you have to be careful what you say out there. But you be rest assured that this negotiation, like we said, it's going to be very, very important for us, because we want to change a lot of the working conditions in this county, right? We want to make sure our nurses come to work, feel safe to come to work, make sure our nurses are compensated right, make sure they have the right benefit, and make sure they have the safe and no bullying work environment. So that's the goal of this negotiation. If anything, I hope you all know everything I just stated are things that we're going to be looking at going to contract negotiation.
And we're already looking at them.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna fight.
Yeah.
Would you like to add anything since you've been helping us so much?
No, you guys have covered everything. I'd just like to say that we're looking for representatives from all of the hospitals, custody, ambulatory. We want to make sure that everyone's voices are heard. So this is your chance and your opportunity to step forward and say whatever it is that you'd like to see included in the next agreement.
Somebody just wrote hazard pay for ER, high risk.
So, of course, what we'll ask all the ER nurses, please fill up your incident report form. If you fill that, we'll collect data and we'll be able to ask to justify that. The last time when we asked, we were told, oh, by the way, you don't even have that many incidents. And I work there and I know on a single day we can have up to 5 incidents, but yet it is not reported. So it's hard for the county to look at that. So we hope people can fill up the form. Yes, we are going to ask for hazardous pay.
We have 5 more minutes.
Who? Oh, yeah. This is almost good.
Okay, so let's go to timekeeping issue. I think timekeeping is another big issue within the county, and we know almost every hospital is having problem, and nurses.
Oh, I mean, it's up to you. Unless you want to.
Can you mute
I think
your phone,
it's
please?
Tony.
Huh?
Thank you.
Someone named Tony has their microphone on.
Yeah, please, thank you. And if you're having timekeeping issue, please reach out to RMPA. We have just sent out a meeting invite to all the leadership for timekeeping, including Paul Lawrence, Catherine Anthony, Gloria de la Merced, Juana over at O'Connor, Jill. We want to meet with them to address this issue, and we will be filing grievances for, if you feel like timekeeping has been interfering with your paycheck all the time, feel free to reach out to us, give us the proof, and we'll go ahead and make sure we resolve that for you, okay? We know that's a big, big issue. All right. Okay, Shannon, do you want to talk about this Clean 2
Sure.
and 3 promotional opportunity? Yeah.
So nurses have been reaching out to us saying that they've been denied their promotion from Clean Nurse 2 to Clean Nurse 3 because they haven't been in charge. Historically, you've never had to be in charge in order to be promoted. You can be deficient in one of the summary categories on the evaluation. So it's never been a problem, but now the county has a new interpretation and they're saying that a nurse needs to be doing charge or able to do charge when that would be oriented when they're promoted. We have a meeting about this again on March 23rd, but we don't agree with it. And we don't understand where this interpretation is coming from because most people that we even know have been promoted without being either trained or doing charge. That's it.
All right, I think our next topic,
I can do the next one.
the next one, you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Yes.
So a lot of per diem nurses have asked how they get wage increases. Well, everyone just got a 20% wage increase, which was great because per diem and extra help are both eligible for general wage increases. But if you're a per diem nurse, after you work 1,040 hours, you can request a performance increase. And there's a policy that has the request form. I think it's NP20. And what that does is you're requesting that your manager evaluate you. And at that point in time, they can give you a salary increase based on your evaluation.
Okay, and the next one. So do you want to talk about this distinguished professional nurse?
Oh, yeah, and actually somebody had a question. Tiffany's on too, but Tiffany, you want to talk about the distinguished nurse program?
I can.
Okay.
So to all our nurses, just so you know, the distinguished nurse program, we are still meeting with the county to decide how that's going to look like. Currently, the only eligible classification within our bargaining units are clinical nurses. So, but again, we are going to contract negotiation that might change, which we're asking for. So just be aware, we are still working right now. The eligibility requirements we will publish that as soon as we finally agree with the county, and we'll send that to everyone and we'll tell you how to go about. We'll be able to have a town hall meeting to explain that.
And then Hannah has some questions about that. But Hannah, I mean, I think that once we agree to the agreement, we'll also have an agreement on how our members are going to be educated. So I think with the county, we'll work in conjunction to make sure that all the nurses have the information and we hold workshops.
And we will hold workshops just to explain to people, give people the opportunity to ask questions and how to go about applying for it. So there will be a separate workshop meetings for that.
And I know you have lots of questions in here, Hannah, so just reach out to us and we can go over every one of the questions.
National certification pay.
Oh, national certification pay. So April 1st, the window is going to open for national certification pay. So you should receive an email from nursing administration that emails you the form. So I think the window is open April 1st to April 30th, and that's a window that you're eligible to be receive $275 for a nationally recognized certification that isn't required for your job.
Last but not the least on my table here is lactation accommodation.
think there's some questions too.
Okay, I know people have questions, but let me just go over this real quick. So I'll ask Shannon to answer some of your questions. And what we just found out in recent days or months, happy Women's Month, by the way, to all our beautiful, hardworking nurses, women here in this county. We salute you. We respect you. I think you all deserve Women's Month every day. No, honestly. But what I want to say is, to find out that this county, we do not have a well-decent designated area for lactation in this county is a shame. We are pleading to all our members, please, let's make sure we have lactation unit or room, a decent room for all our departments. If you know you do not have a lactation, anybody who may have some opinions of what we can do to do that, please feel free to reach to us. We are going to have a meeting with the county, and we will visit every department, and we'll make sure we had this discussion yesterday with the president of the Board of Supervisors, Ellenberg, and she's willing to help to make sure it happens. So to all our nursing mothers in the county, please, we just so you know, we'll do everything we can to make sure a lactation unit or department or room is provided to all our nurses here in the county. So I just want to say that. Go ahead, Shannon.
Okay, somebody has a question. I'm a Clin Nurse 2, Step 5, and maxed out. I did not get an annual increase on my anniversary last year because there's no place to go after Clin Nurse 2, Step 5. I put in a request for promotion increase in December with no reply. I asked my assistant nurse manager and was forwarded to HR, who replied that I got a 10% increase. Yeah, so you need to get a copy of that request to us, the request form, and then we can help you with that here at our office. Because the request form, they have 60 days from the date of request to promote you if you're satisfactory. So you should have received some type of evaluation or documentation saying that there'd be a reevaluation period. People are saying they're talking about preceptor pay, charge pay, increase in differentials, cross training. If you have no COVID pay reimbursement, Rebecca, email me because I just got some new email addresses to contact. Tony asks, is there a time frame the timekeeper is supposed to fix our paychecks when the issue is brought up? There's a section in our contract that says that it's 3 days from the date that you inform them. But send us your email, your information, and we'll follow up with you with that. I think that also St. Louis is talking about all the psych patients that they have. And I think that's everything. Does anybody else have any questions that we didn't answer on here?
Can we have automatic promotion?
Yeah, someone's asking for automatic promotion from Clin Nurse 1 to Clin Nurse 2 when you reach the required hours. When you apply, it takes forever. It shouldn't take forever. It should be 60 days from the date of request, and that's why it's so important that when you submit your documentation, submit your pre-evaluation tool, your application, and then the request form, and make a copy of it because they have a time frame that they have to adhere to.
I just wanted to add a quick note. I knew I was forgetting something about the violence prevention. I don't know if all of you are aware, but the county, we've been pushing for really hard for years, and the county finally approved codes for psych nurses for a behavioral response team in the hospitals. So those codes are going through and should be posted soon. There's going to be 7 at Valley Med, and 2 will be a nurse consultant to help psych nurse for the consults for the psych 5150s in the hospital. But the other 5 codes will be for part of the behavioral response team for violent patients, and it'll be a psychiatric nurse, doctor, psychiatrist, NP, PSO, and social worker. And so right now that's going to be starting at VMC. It's as the pilot, and then it's going to be going to O'Connor this summer. And we're really going to push for it at all 3 hospitals. So we know there's a lot of 5150s all throughout the county. So again, really important, fill out the incident reports, contact us or me specifically for certain events, and because we need to know about it too, so we can keep advocating for more safety.
So we have a few more questions here. It says recognition for years of service, 25 years for me last month and no recognition. You should have received your step C, which is your last eligible 2.5% increase. So I don't know if HR is going to reach out to you for some type of recognition, but make sure you get that step C, which is an additional 2.5% increase.
It's 2.5%?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, then someone says, is there negotiating for getting paid extra for specialized departments? That's something that you can put on your survey if that's something you're interested in. Then somebody says, will COVID pay be renewed? It doesn't look like it's going to be renewed by the state at this point in time. Someone says, can we have automatic promotion? I think I read that right. From cleaners 1 to cleaners 2 when you reach the required hours. I mean, that's something that we can look at too if if people are interested in that. And then someone says, hi, first and foremost, thank you to the RMPA team. What about cleaners 3 to cleaners 4? Is there such a step? No, because instead of the cleaners 4, we have the distinguished nurse program, which is that additional $1,600 or $1,599 that you're eligible for if you go in front of the panel and you're selected for, or you reach that criteria, I guess I would say. More information will be coming about that too. And someone else is just saying that just automatic promotion period.
CMR.
Oh, CMR, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Susie.
Do you want to know about the update for CMR?
Yeah, you can. Why don't you go?
So the update for the CMR is that we couldn't agree to a proposal with the county, so we went ahead and scheduled a court date in June. So we're gonna go to court and we're gonna let a judge decide. And that's about it, right?
Yeah. Any of the board member on the call has any comments?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Alex for Search. I just have a question about the COVID policy. Are we still testing those patients before we start moving them around in the hospital?
No.
No
The
more,
county,
isn't it?
the county has changed its policy. No more testing for patient going up to the floor. I think that policy went out.
Unless they were like sick contact.
I mean, it's
Unless
not
they're
required. It is not required. But
If they're asymptomatic, isn't it? If they're asymptomatic?
Yes, if it's necessary just to roll out, yeah. Just for isolation purposes, just like we would do for TB, just like we will do for any other communicable disease.
I see. So they're not concerned that we put them with another patient, they already bring COVID in and they're going to infect the patient that they're going to be with.
No, they are concerned, but the state laws and CDC and everything about COVID now is not necessarily like we are now back to a situation where like TB, like any other communicable disease.
Yeah, and that's the way it sounds.
Yeah.
That's the way it sounds. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some more quick questions. It says, if we're scheduled to work 12-hour shift and we pick up a third weekend, are we supposed to get paid third weekend pay for the full 12-hour shift? If it's a scheduled 12-hour shift, you are. If it's like scheduled for 12 hours is what I'm saying. Is the county moving ahead with no mask policy along with the policy updates come April?
Yes, the county, unless in the hospital for people who are directly involved taking care of patients, but I think there's a law that is supposed to be where it is required, not mandated. That's going to change, yes.
Okay, then someone says, can we refuse to go to CMR as only a few in our unit who can go there?
So with the CMR, you can fill up the objection to assignment form to going to the CMR because we're going to court. Everything is status quo. We can't tell our nurses to refuse because we're going to court. We have a disagreement. The county has a position. We have a position. So yeah.
Competencies though, you have to make sure though if your competencies need to be validated before you go there.
Yeah.
So if your competencies aren't validated, you shouldn't go there, and you should say my competencies aren't validated.
And then object and fill up the objection despite assignment despite objection form. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Rebecca, I didn't get this question before. It says, can we ask about the AHA certs via Red Cross at St. Louis Hospital?
What's that?
Actually, she had a question before that was written
I
up.
think
that
St. Louis goes through American Heart. No, they go through Red Cross and then like we go through American Heart Association. I think like she's asking if we could switch it, like just be the same. I think that's what it said.
Yeah,
I only
that's
got
what
like
it
a little
said.
glimpse of it.
Or American Heart Association
Like
Yeah.
they wanna go.
for the ACLS and
I think
BLS?
they go through the Red Cross. I think she's asking if they could go through American Heart like VMC does.
For BLS and ACLS and
That's what
PALS?
it seems like. I
Yeah,
don't
she
think
says,
so.
can we advocate for St. Louis to change certifications from Red Cross to AHA
American Heart
or at
Association.
least offer heart share?
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah,
We can ask for that,
yeah,
Rebecca.
It should be the
Yeah.
same enterprise wide.
We should be able to ask, yes,
Shouldn't be too different.
yeah.
Okay, so is there anyone we missed? Sorry about that. I was gonna go back to that, Rebecca, when we were on topic for that kind of, okay, that's it.
Any other question,
Oh,
comment?
she also says, right at St. Louis, we want AHA, we have to pay out of the pocket, should be the same as VMC.
You shouldn't pay out
Oh,
of
yeah.
pocket.
No.
We have an account with HeartShare. You just have to let your scheduler know ahead of time. There's a form that you fill, and they will schedule you and let you know.
Actually, can you call me, Rebecca, and we can
Yeah.
talk about this? This is Shannon, and just call our office at 408-292-6061, and we can talk about it and figure it out.
Because that's part of your job,
If you're able,
requirement.
yeah.
Yeah, so you shouldn't be paying out of pocket if it's part of your job requirement.
Any question, concern?
We have some more. Just did, oops, it's moving, sorry. Just did BLS at HeartShare and paid my own. If that's what happened, call us, okay? And we can look into that. It says, continuation, yet we are deducted 30 minutes for lunch that we can't take. That's all you have to, if you don't get your lunch period, you have to claim it and then you'll be paid for an hour. Gloria says, thank you to RMPA. You've been working so hard advocating for members. We are empowered and we have been well supported. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon says, how do we move up steps? I have been a Cliners 3, step 5 for 4 years. Actually, you should be a step 6 because after 3 years at step 5, you move to step 6. But if you haven't moved, Sharon, call us here at the office and we can help you with that. Steph said, thank you, RMPA and everyone involved for your patience and advocating for us. Makes me proud to be working here. Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph.
Can we talk about advocating for PCU at St. Louis to be opened all the time?
Yes, that conversation continues. Just so you know, we will be having meeting. I think it's tomorrow. We have a meeting with the Board of Supervisor for South County, Supervisor Sylvia Arenas. One of the topic is the PCU, which in last Board of Supervisor meeting, she brought it up. We have reached out to her. I spoke to her policy director about that. So yes, we will address that.
Okay, somebody's asking, will Karen Kettner be at the NP meeting? Yes, she will.
Which one?
Oh, actually, when we meet with her, she will be.
So let me just clarify for Karen Kettner's meeting. We are going to have a separate meeting with just our nurse practitioners, and then we will be having a meeting with Karen Kettner. Yes, at that time, our members can attend as well.
Andrew said thank you.
Was there another?
RMPA board.
CMR on
Thank you
I
all.
think so.
there? I thought I saw something pop up. It was coming so fast in my.
Could be me.
So I think we're done. Any other question, updates? I think, thank you for all our members.
Actually,
Continue.
there is one more CMR, you're right. It says, why our unit not continue to send staff there to be trained? Why the CMR not hire more staff?
We're trying.
We echo your question. We echo the sentiment of your question. Trust me, we're all on the same page with that question. But
Also, the law is the same for breaks for the nurse practitioners.
yes, as long as you with RMPA, yes.
Then someone says, is there any talk about going on with Hazel Hawkins? Gilroy is impacted with many patients coming from Hollister.
What do you mean going along? What does that mean?
Hazel Hawkins closing.
Yeah.
Talk to Hazel?
No, they're talking about Hazel Hawkins Hospital closing. And they're saying it's impacting them because those patients from Hollister are going to Gilroy.
So the only talk we have with the county is to make sure St. Louis has been the census is too high. The county has a plan of expansion. They are working on a master plan to even build a new hospital there. But for now, the goal is to open the urgent care over at DePaul, which the county had just approved 70 code for that hospital, for that clinic. That will push some of the patients that are going to the ER instead of going to the ER to go to urgent care, because we do not have any urgent care over in that area. So that will help reduce the burden of some of the patients that would otherwise go to urgent care versus going to the ED. Yes, we are addressing that. We are anticipating, and I think the county also, and that's one of the reason we're meeting with the Board of Supervisor for the South County tomorrow to address all those issues. We are.
And then he's also asking, can we recruit experienced nurses from Hazel Hawken to the county? That would be great.
That would be great. Please do.
And then somebody else, any chance of getting coded for extra help that works a lot of hours? I mean, that's something that we can look at in contract negotiations. We've done that before. But just there's 300 vacancies, so make sure that you're applying on Open Competitive today. But that is something that we can try again to look at in contract negotiations.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it?
All right. Thank everyone. If you still have questions, comment, please feel free to send your questions to info@rmpa.net. info@rmpa.net. You all have a wonderful rest of your week, and happy Women's Month to everyone, and happy International Women's Day as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.